Hey there, Broken Arrow. Welcome to this edition of Broken Arrow in Motion Take 5. I'm City Manager Michael Spurgeon, and thanks for joining me. Also joining me today is Ward 2 Council Member Lisa Ford. Lisa, how are you doing?
Doing good. Enjoying the summer.
Good deal. This is Lisa's first Take 5 segment, and I'm very happy to have her on the show today because we're going to be talking about something that's very important to everyone in our community, and that is the municipal budget. So Lisa joined the City Council back in April of 2021, and she just completed, or the city just completed, its second annual budget since she joined the City Council. So Lisa, what are your thoughts about, since you've become an elected official, you worked with the city for many years, so what are your thoughts about the municipal budget process?
Well, I do love the process because, of course, you give us a summary, and that's open to the public, obviously, on what you see in the budget, and then we get this huge notebook that we get to study. But I love that there's input from every director, and I love that the councilors can actually communicate with the directors on, like, why do you need this money and what are you going to spend it for? Because I feel like at the end of the day, it's our job as a councilor to make sure that our city money is being spent the way it's supposed to be spent. And I love the transparency of our city. So I don't think there's anyone that can say, that's not how you said you were going to spend it, because we tell them where the money's coming from.
That's exactly right. The City Council, as you know, last month approved the fiscal year 2023, which is July 1st through June 30th budget, and that budget was right at $311 million, and it consists of both the operational costs for the city as well as the capital improvement costs. You know, as a council member, there are a lot of things that are important to each of you. Obviously, the operational budget takes care of running the day-to-day operations, but capital improvements is something that is extremely important as a part of the budget process because we're such a fast-growing town. So with regard to the capital improvement budget, was there a project or two or anything that was in the capital budget that you thought was important that you'd like to share with the community that's going to happen this coming year?
Well, being in Ward 2, we are having a lot of construction that's going to be happening, which, you know, people are not going to probably like the cones, but they're going to like the after. They're going to like the after show that we have from the cones. Ward 2 is kind of the gateway to, our city, because people that are coming from Tulsa, which we know they do, to come to our beautiful Rose District and New Orleans Square. I'm really glad to see that construction, because if you are coming home from Tulsa, you're in that, almost mile-long line to get to your home. So that'll be nice to be able to get our citizens to their home quickly after work.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, we're excited that there actually is going to be construction on both Washington and Houston this fiscal year. I mean, so there's still 3 or 4 miles of road that we need to actually widen in order to accommodate all the traffic that's happening within our community. So the next thing I want to mention to you about is, as we start to wrap up here, and obviously there's so much information, you can look at the budget message online on the city's website to learn more about it, is public initiatives, because you've heard me say this for the last couple of years, is that we're at a point as a growing community that our focus isn't always going to be on asphalt and concrete. I mean, we have great directors, as you mentioned, Rocky Hinkle, Kenny Schwab, Chuck Vokes, Ethan Edwards, that are actually working on our roads, our water, and our sewer. There's some other initiatives that are quality of life types initiative. And one of the first conversations we had when you took office was certain things that you'd like to see as a council member. And I believe those initiatives have been incorporated into the budget. So do you want to mention a few of the exciting things that we're going to be working on that are not actually infrastructure related?
Well, I feel like the turf on the baseball fields are pretty exciting. I do listen to my constituents, and even if they're not in my ward, I listen to them too. And that was one thing that was brought to me. And I played softball growing up, and so I know when you go out of town and if you get a rain out, you just head home. We want them to stay in our city. So if we can get more of our baseball, softball fields turfed, then people are going to stay in our city and spend some more money and help us with our sales tax. So I'm excited about that.
Let me ask you this. Something was important to you was the Gateway Initiative.
Yes.
So why don't you mention about how that actually helped transform our community as people come into the city?
Well, and people probably see the signs that we have now, they're worn, and we don't want to look like a worn out city. We want to look like a fresh and energetic city. So I am super excited about that. We have a committee that's working on that, and we already have the money in place. And so as you come into our city, as I said, Ward 2 is the welcoming, we'll have some really neat signage. And I like the way that in some areas we'll have big signage, and in other areas it won't be so big. So I really like how we've set set that aside to make sure that the money goes where it needs to go and still have some signage, but not have to put a lot of money into it. So I am excited about that.
Well, I know that Ethan Edwards and Charlie Bright are working on that initiative, trying to acquire all the right-of-way, and then we'll actually be looking for the final design of the signs. So there's so many other exciting things that are happening, and we want to keep this segment to about 5 minutes, so we're about time to wrap up. So Lisa, if you had to kind of close things out for me about the importance of the municipal budget process that you could share with our community, what would that be?
Well, I feel like that what's important, I mean, the process and the budget, the way it goes, I think is really good. What I would like to see is more of our constituents looking at the budget and asking questions. That's what we're here for. But again, I do feel like we are so transparent. They can just go to our website and it's there. So I would just say, if you haven't looked at our budget, look at the budget. You know, check out our website, check out our Facebook page, because we do try to put as much information out there for our citizens as we can.
Well, transparency is extremely important to the City Council and the administration, and I appreciate your time today. I look forward to having you come back sometime later this summer, early fall, to talk about something that's important to you that you're hearing from our community. That is all the time we have for this edition of Broken Arrow Motion Take 5. I'd like to thank you for joining Councilmember Ford and myself, and just basically close out, as I always say, hope you have a great rest of the summer, and I look forward to seeing you around town.